At the exact moment Andrew Hawthorne's vows left his lips, a dog darted down the sandy aisle, sprinting between the guests, and right behind it came a breathless little boy, desperate to catch up. But when the child lifted his face and his eyes met those of the billionaire groom, time seemed to crack open, because that tiny face could have been a reflection of his. Before we dive into this story filled with twists and unexpected truths, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? And what time is it right now? And don't forget to leave a like. It helps our Hearts Rewritten channel reach more people who love emotional stories just like you. And of course, make sure to subscribe. Let's begin. The sun poured a warm glow over the light blue ocean, where small waves slid gently across the fine golden sand. It was the perfect setting for a wedding, and that day marked the long-awaited ceremony of Andrew Hawthorne, the self-made billionaire whose tech empire had filled headlines for years. White chairs curved in a half-moon shape before a carefully built floral arch. Andrew's relatives and a few of his business partners spoke quietly, dressed in light linen and soft tones. With each passing minute, more necks stretched as guests tried to catch a glimpse of the groom. Andrew stood near the arch, impeccable in a suit that almost clashed with the relaxed beach atmosphere. His blonde hair was perfectly styled, just long enough to hint at a softer, less rigid side of his personality. Almost without noticing, he adjusted his collar and checked his watch, a movement so automatic it appeared even on his wedding day. Despite the paradise setting, a subtle tension formed between his brows. He knew that feeling well. It always appeared when something monumental was about to happen. As a disciplined businessman, Andrew usually mastered any situation, yet underneath that control lived a quiet discomfort, as if something important had been left behind, something he'd never had the courage to face. Taking a steady breath, he reminded himself that in just a few minutes he would be married to Rachel Bushi, a socialite from an old and influential family. To many, their union symbolized the flawless merging of two powerful worlds. Quiet whispers across the beach suggested that, beyond romance, the marriage felt like a strategic alliance. When the string quartet began to play, an elegant silence settled over the guests. Andrew surveyed the faces, the carefully measured smiles of Rachel's aristocratic relatives, the flashes of paparazzi trying to capture discreet angles from behind a restricted area. Even in what should have been an intimate moment, he couldn't escape the public eye. Then, from behind white partitions, Rachel appeared in her designer gown, the family veil draped over her shoulders like silk. Tall, poised, refined, a woman trained by years of galas and social events. Andrew smiled, relieved to see everything unfolding exactly as planned, but fate rarely follows the script. The officiant stepped forward, preparing to begin the ceremony, when a sudden noise burst from the far end of the beach. A loud bark, playful yet urgent, cut through the soft melody of the strings. Guests turned almost in unison. A small dog was sprinting across the sand, ears flapping, leash bouncing behind him. The shock made the violinists lose their rhythm, producing a sharp, awkward sound that echoed across the venue. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. The dog, clearly a chaotic little mix, dashed between the rows of chairs, kicking up sand and leaving expensive shoes behind. And just moments later came a 5-year-old boy, running as fast as his tiny legs could carry him, shouting, "Buddy, come back!" His shirt was crooked and he clutched the end of the leash with all his strength, horrified at disrupting something so important. Everyone froze. Guests exchanged confused looks. Elaine Hawthorne, Andrew's mother, pressed a hand to her chest in shock. Charles Buchy, Rachel's father, imposing, stern, a man accustomed to controlling everything, stepped forward, ready to remove the intruder. But the boy saw only the dog, and Buddy, determined, had no intention of slowing down. For one brief moment, Andrew simply watched. The scene was so absurd, his million-dollar wedding being interrupted by a rebellious little dog and a desperate child, that he almost laughed. But the boy's panicked expression snapped him instantly back to reality. Andrew strode quickly across the sand, crouched down, and caught Buddy's leash with gentle hands. "Easy there, Buddy," he murmured, running his hand through the dog's fur. Buddy relaxed immediately, tail wagging as if Andrew were his long-lost best friend. The boy stopped in front of him, breathless. "Thank you," he whispered, wide brown eyes fixed on the man. Something in that expression made Andrew's chest tighten, a strange feeling he couldn't quite name. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked gently. "Who did you come with? Where is your—" Before he could finish, the crowd split like water, giving way to a woman rushing forward, hair messy from the wind, simple dress clinging to her legs, her face marked by panic and overwhelming relief. To anyone else, she was just a mother, desperately chasing her runaway child and frantic dog. But Andrew froze. It couldn't be. She looked different, older, with features softened and sharpened by time all at once. But it was her, Ariana Wells, the woman he had tried to forget, the woman who vanished without explanation after a breakup that nearly broke him, the woman whose absence he tried to bury beneath contracts, meetings, and endless nights of work. "Ariana," he whispered. The boy ran into her arms, hiding his face against her leg and squeezing Buddy tightly. Near the floral arch, Rachel stared with rising indignation. Guests murmured anxiously. Paparazzi snapped photos non-stop, smelling scandal in the air. Andrew felt the ground disappear beneath him, and in a low, almost breathless voice, he asked, "Your son," the boy, Bennett, had something familiar. The eyes, the determined way he stood there, even afraid. It was like seeing a miniature fragment of himself. Ariana bit her lip, glanced briefly at her son, then lifted her gaze back to Andrew. And in that instant, everything began to fall apart. "Yes," Ariana finally said, one single word, but heavy as an earthquake. The silence that followed swept across the entire beach. Rachel paled, swallowing hard. Charles Buchy, her father, stepped forward, furious. "This wedding will proceed immediately. Remove that woman and that child from here now." The cutting command made Ariana straighten her posture. She pulled Bennett close, and something fierce flashed in her eyes. Maybe years ago she would have stepped back, but not now. Now she was a mother, and she stood before something she would never again allow to be ignored. Andrew rose slowly, turning to face the older man. The tension was so thick it seemed to vibrate in the air. "No," he said, calm but unwavering. "No one is going anywhere. Not before I understand what is happening. He is my son." He spoke the sentence quietly, almost as if testing the truth for the first time. Charles opened his mouth, ready to argue, but the stormy look in Andrew's eyes forced him to retreat. Guests exchanged uneasy glances, murmuring like waves gathering strength before breaking. Rachel hurried a step forward, her expression shifting between panic and anger. "Andrew," she said, barely moving her lips, "please remember your commitments. We have obligations to my family." She shot Ariana a sharp, poisonous glare, as if her expression alone could wound her. "Whatever this is," she continued icily, "can wait until after the ceremony." The air grew impossibly heavy. Ariana held Bennett's hand tightly, bracing herself for the worst. Maybe Andrew would send them away. Maybe he would order security to escort them out. But Andrew inhaled deeply, and when his gaze met Ariana's, his eyes held a storm of emotions: shock, hurt, confusion, and something he couldn't yet define. He opened his mouth, but before any words escaped, a small tug pulled at Ariana's dress. "Mommy, did we do something wrong?" Bennett asked softly. His voice trembled with fear. Ariana shook her head, softening her face before answering. "No, my love," she whispered, her voice breaking. "We didn't do anything wrong. It's just time for the truth." Andrew's heartbeat pounded so loudly it felt like an echo inside his chest. He reached out and rested a hand on the boy's shoulder, a simple gesture, yet one that carried the weight of an entire lifetime. For the first time, father and son connected. There was uncertainty in both, fear, and still something intimate, inevitable. A shimmer of tears threatened to escape Andrew's eyes, but he blinked too quickly to allow it. Around them, the wedding looked like a devastated scene. Crooked chairs, sand disturbed by the dog's frantic run, and the once grand floral arch diminished by the escalating drama. No one dared to move, and slowly, as if something had finally begun to reveal itself, Andrew realized this wedding, perfectly designed, might never happen, and strangely, a small flame of hope lit inside his chest. Hope to correct past mistakes. Hope not to lose something he never knew he had. On one side, Rachel, immaculate and unyielding, her eyes burning with indignation. On the other, Ariana, steady as a lioness, shielding her son within her arms. Even the sound of the waves seemed to hesitate, as if the entire beach awaited Andrew's choice. Bennett, unaware of the emotional storm around him, tightened his grip on Buddy's leash. The little dog still panted from the run, wagging his tail without understanding he was at the center of $1 million scandal. Why did she come? Andrew wondered, chest tight. Why today of all days? But when he looked at Bennett, the expressive eyes, the shape of his chin, the slightly wavy hair, it felt like staring at a younger version of himself. The truth hit him with brutal force. Rachel stepped closer, maintaining composure only on the surface. "End this, Andrew," she ordered in a firm whisper, smiling just enough to avoid alerting the photographers. "We'll deal with whatever this is later. We have an entire reception planned, influential guests, the press waiting. Don't let this turn into a circus." Andrew drew in a deep breath, studying her face. Where was the woman who had promised love? Where was the partner he imagined standing beside him through every storm? All he saw now was desperation for appearances, not for him. Over Rachel's shoulder, Andrew noticed his mother, Elaine Hawthorne, approaching. She wore an elegant lilac dress, but what stood out was her expression, gentle, understanding, full of something Rachel lacked, genuine empathy. "Andrew," Elaine said softly, ignoring Rachel's disapproving glare, "you need to speak with Ariana. At least, hear her." She knelt in front of Bennett with tenderness. "It's all right, sweetheart. No one is angry at you. It's just not what was planned." Bennett took 2 shy steps back toward his mother. Ariana, fighting tears, brushed a hand through her son's hair. "Thank you," she told Elaine, her voice trembling. Nothing more needed to be said. 2 mothers, from completely different worlds, united by the same instinct, to protect their children from whatever came next. Charles huffed irritably. "We need to regain control of this event," he growled to Rachel, placing a firm hand on her shoulder. "Don't let this destroy what matters. Andrew is your fiancé. Don't let him fall into a trap." The word hung in the air like venom. A trap? Ariana coming here on purpose to ruin the wedding? Andrew knew that wasn't true. He remembered the sincerity of her tears years ago, the quiet pain when she disappeared. And now, seeing her again with the boy who could be his mirror, this wasn't revenge. This was history. This was truth. Suddenly, Bennett's small voice cut through the tension. "Mister, why are you getting married here? The beach is for playing, not for being mad." The innocent question sliced through the moment. Andrew let out a short laugh, not of joy, but of pure disbelief. "Yeah," he murmured, clearing his throat. "I guess we chose a beautiful place to celebrate something important." Rachel's face tightened in offense. Ariana watched Andrew with eyes full of emotion and fear for what would come next. Guests began drifting around, some already ordering drinks from the bar, unsure whether to stay or leave. Paparazzi, only partially contained, kept taking photos. A billionaire wedding falling apart was their dream. Rachel, finally regaining her posture, faced Ariana with razor-sharp hostility. "You can't just show up after all these years and ruin everything," she said, her tone icy. "There are discreet ways to handle private matters." The way Rachel emphasized her last words made her intentions unmistakable. Lawyers, quiet settlements, any social mechanism capable of smothering a scandal like this. Ariana straightened, hesitant to escalate the conflict, but strong enough not to back down. She looked from Rachel to Andrew. "Andrew," she began carefully, "I know you have every right to be shaken, but we need to talk. I didn't choose this moment." Buddy slipped out of Bennett's hand. I tried to catch him, and when we saw the decorations, it was already too late. She drew a deep breath. "I'm sorry for all this disruption, truly, but I won't apologize for telling you about your son." Bennett's eyes went to his mother. His expression was calm but far from empty. Too young to understand the weight of the revelation, too perceptive not to sense the tension vibrating between the adults. He pressed closer to Ariana, clutching Buddy's leash as if it were his anchor. Andrew felt an almost instinctive urge to get him out of there, away from the curious stares, the confusion, the flashes, the whispered comments. That little boy didn't deserve exposure or fear. "There's a cabana just beyond that dune," Andrew said gently, looking at Ariana. "It's private, part of the resort I rented for the wedding. No one will bother you there." He made a vague gesture toward the guests peeking in and the paparazzi trying to photograph through gaps. Ariana nodded with relief. "Please, I just want Bennett somewhere quiet and safe." She cast a guilty glance at Buddy, now wiggling happily in Elaine's arms. Seeing the need, Andrew's mother lightly touched his arm and said, "I'll take the little one and the dog to the cabana. You follow right behind." "Andrew," Rachel hissed through her teeth, "the ceremony—" He turned to her for a brief moment, his expression marked by exhaustion and a newfound determination. "I have to deal with this, Rachel. The truth doesn't disappear just because we look away." The shock on her face pierced him with a flicker of guilt, but only for a moment. Something inside Andrew understood that pretending would solve nothing. It would be cowardice. Charles Bucke, Rachel's father, approached like a wall, his chin lifted in indignation. "How dare you walk away from this commitment? This agreement?" he snapped, shooting Ariana a frosty glare. "After everything we invested, everything you invested?" "You invested," Andrew corrected, his tone firm as steel. "I know how much you wanted a flawless event. I know how much appearances matter to your contacts and the society pages, but there's a child here, my child, and I'm not turning my back on him." And with that he turned and began walking after Elaine and Bennett, ignoring Charles's outraged, "This is absurd," and Rachel's trembling gasp. Andrew's mind was a hurricane. Fear, relief, anger, sadness, and above all, a painful burning curiosity. From the corner of his eye he saw two paparazzi slip past security, cameras firing like machine guns. The guards chased them down, but not before they captured several photos of the runaway groom. The tabloids would have a feast. Let them. Andrew had a much bigger world collapsing and rebuilding at the same time. Beside him, Ariana walked in silence. The sound of waves crashing and the distant hum of the guests created an almost unreal atmosphere, as if everything were a strange dream that might crumble at any second. What do you say to the person who reappears in your life carrying a truth that changes absolutely everything, that changes your past, your present, and your future? Finally, Andrew managed to speak. "Why didn't you tell me?" His voice cracked. "Were you afraid? Or did you think I wouldn't want to know about him?" Ariana finished, her voice tight and low. She looked down, her hands trembling. "After our breakup, I had no way to reach you. You changed your number, changed your team, put layers and layers of people between you and the real world. Your company became a fortress, and everything happened so fast. I felt like I was on the outside with no door to knock on." Andrew almost argued, almost told her she should have tried harder, but something inside him held him back. When she mentioned everything having exploded, memories came back like blades. Sleepless nights, meetings that never seemed to end, an obsession with proving worth, ignored calls, old friends blocked out by emotions he refused to face. Maybe he really had made himself unreachable. The cabana appeared ahead, small, cozy, its curtains swaying in the breeze, lounge chairs arranged in the shade. Elaine guided Bennett inside, Buddy trotting happily at his side. At the entrance, Ariana and Andrew paused, exchanging a heavy look filled with everything words couldn't hold. "You have questions," Ariana said at last. "I'll answer all of them. Just, please, don't be hard on him. Bennett's been through enough today." Andrew ran a hand through his hair, nervous. "I'm not angry with him. I'm trying to understand all this. We need to be honest, with everyone." A fragile smile lifted the corner of her lips, sad but genuine. "I never wanted lies, Andrew. But sometimes life pushes us down paths we never would have chosen." They stepped inside together. Elaine, realizing they needed space, led Bennett to a corner and began showing him seashells she had collected. Buddy sniffed them eagerly, tail wagging. Ariana sank into one of the lounge chairs, her shoulders finally giving in. "Andrew," she began, voice trembling, "I never wanted to destroy your wedding. It hurts that you're finding out like this. Please, believe me." He sat across from her. Physically, just a few steps separated them. Emotionally, a chasm lay between them. "I believe you," he said quietly. "But now that everything's out, we need to figure out what it means for Bennett, for me." He glanced toward the beach where guests still lingered, confused. "For everything," Ariana nodded, biting her lip. "He's incredible, Andrew. He loves creating things. Tiny machines, little contraptions with rubber bands and boxes. You'd be amazed." Her eyes brightened. "You would be proud of him." A deep ache tore through Andrew. Bennett had grown all this time, discovering who he was, building dreams, and he had seen none of it, but now he could. "I want to know him, Ariana," Andrew said, voice firm despite its tremor. "I want to know everything." Across the cabana, Bennett giggled as Elaine balanced a seashell on Buddy's nose. His laughter was so pure, so light. It felt like sunlight breaking into a dark room. That sound shifted something inside Andrew. Today was supposed to be the beginning of a flawless life with Rachel, a perfect arrangement meant to unite two powerful families. But instead, today became the day he discovered a love he never knew existed, a father's love. He didn't know how to move forward, or how to face Rachel, or how to mend the past with Ariana. But he knew one thing: he wasn't leaving. Not from Bennett, not from the truth. The collapse of the meticulously planned wedding was only the beginning of the chaos. But maybe beneath the ruins, something far more valuable was waiting. Outside, the ceremony lay in fragments. Rachel's relatives argued under a canopy. Guests whispered about the scandal. Paparazzi kept shooting relentlessly. Even the string quartet had abandoned their instruments. Confusion and speculation spread everywhere. Inside the cabana, however, the world seemed to stand still. Andrew leaned forward, his gaze shifting from Ariana to Bennett, who was now balancing seashells on Buddy's head. The dog, patient as if he understood the gravity of the moment, simply wagged his tail whenever a shell slipped off. "I need to know everything," Andrew said, his voice low but steady. "From the beginning. Why you left. Why you never came to me." Ariana let her breath out slowly, brushing a few strands of hair away from her face. She glanced at Bennett, who was laughing at the dog's antics under Elaine's watchful eye. At least she thought he was at peace. "It all started when we broke up," she said gently. "I know it was painful. You were obsessed with expanding your company, focused on making it." She swallowed back the sob rising in her throat. "Back then, Andrew, you cut ties with almost everyone who reminded you of who you were before success. It wasn't just me, it was friends, even your own family for a while." Andrew's jaw tightened. He couldn't deny it. "I remember," he murmured, guilt rising to the surface, "but I never imagined you would disappear." "Our fights were becoming unbearable," she continued, her eyes lost somewhere in old memories. "I felt like you were pushing me out of your life, and I tried to stay, but at some point I gave up." She took a deep breath. "I left you a letter, Andrew, telling you I was pregnant." He blinked, confused, as if he hadn't heard her right. "A letter?" he repeated, barely above a whisper. Ariana nodded slowly. 2 weeks later, I had bleeding. The doctors said I had probably lost the baby, or that if the baby survived, there might be complications. I panicked. Andrew felt the ground tilt beneath him. "I never saw that letter," he muttered, genuinely stunned. Ariana's voice grew thick. "I thought you'd read it, and just didn't care. I was fragile, lost, terrified. I went back to my hometown, my number got cut off, and when I found out Bennett was alive, healthy, that letter didn't matter anymore. And you were unreachable. Your company exploded. You were on magazine covers. I called your offices, left messages. No one ever called back. I couldn't get past the wall you built around yourself." Andrew sank back in his chair, dazed. It was true. To protect himself and to become someone successful, he had built a fortress that shut out everyone who actually mattered. In his ears, his heartbeat pounded like fists on a closed door. Bennett giggled as he managed to balance 4 shells on Buddy's nose. Ariana gave a faint smile before looking back at Andrew. "I didn't come here to destroy your wedding, Andrew. I didn't even know you were getting married today. My life is Bennett. I just came for the weekend. The beach is public. When we saw the decorations, it was already too late. And Buddy ran off like the rest you saw." Andrew let out a shaky sigh. The pieces began to fall into place, cruelly. "Too late. I'm sorry," he whispered, each word heavy with regret. "If I had known." "I believe you," Ariana said, tears threatening to fall. "But I could have tried harder too. Reached out to your mother. Tried something else. But I was afraid. Afraid you'd reject Bennett. Afraid your world had grown too big for the two of us." Elaine sensed the emotional shift and called Bennett, leading him outside with Buddy trotting happily at his side. Now Andrew and Ariana were alone. The muffled noise of the beach seeped through the cabana walls. The fan turned lazily overhead, spreading the scent of the sea. Andrew was the first to speak. "I never wanted to be someone who abandons the people who matter." His voice was hoarse. "But I did, didn't I?" Ariana discreetly wiped her tears. "You chased your dreams," she replied softly. "I don't blame you for that. I just wish I hadn't been left behind with everything you tried to forget." Andrew nodded, blinking away his own tears. "I can't fix the past, but I want to be in Bennett's life. I need to be." The moment he said it, something inside him aligned, as if he had finally found the right place in the middle of the chaos. Ariana drew in a long breath. "He's used to it being just the two of us. And Buddy, of course," she said with a small smile. "But he deserves to know his father." Andrew's chest tightened. "I'm not perfect," he admitted, "but I promise I'll do everything I can to be present. I don't want to be a stranger to him." Ariana's body relaxed as if that were all she had ever needed to hear. "That's all I ever wanted," she confessed, her voice breaking. Suddenly, raised voices echoed from outside. Andrew stood and pulled the curtain aside. Outside, Rachel was marching toward the cabana, flanked by her father and a few guests. Their faces were full of anger, urgency, and wounded pride. Elaine held Bennett's hand protectively. Rachel stopped in front of the cabana and declared, loud enough for everyone to hear, "We need to talk, Andrew. This wedding, what's left of it, still needs a decision." Andrew stepped out. Ariana followed, tense. Bennett peeked from behind Elaine's legs, clutching Buddy's leash. Rachel smoothed her wrinkled dress, her hands trembling. "I can't take this anymore," she burst out on edge. 100 guests waiting, the press going crazy. My father trying to salvage our image. And you just disappear into that cabana? Andrew looked at Ariana, then at Rachel. Never had the difference between them been so stark. Ariana had given him the truth, raw, painful, without hiding. Rachel was only trying to save her own status, and his heart made the choice that had already been made. The moment he saw Bennett running across the sand. "I'm sorry, Rachel," he said firmly, "but I needed to talk to the mother of my son." He emphasized every word. "My son deserves my attention more than any ceremony." Rachel went pale, offended, shattered, or furious. "We can still fix this," she pleaded. "My lawyers said they can handle it. Any claims. We can make a private arrangement. Save the wedding. No one has to know the details. Andrew, think about our future. Think about what we built." She lowered her voice, almost whispering, "Don't throw everything away because of an unexpected child." A chill ran through Andrew. An unexpected child. The phrase sliced something deep inside him. "What we built is just a public image, Rachel," he replied. "But this," he pointed to Bennett, "this is real, and I won't ignore my son for the sake of appearances." Charles snorted, furious. "You're making a huge mistake, Hawthorne. The press will destroy your reputation. Our families will never recover from this." Andrew ignored him. He focused solely on Rachel. "I don't know if we ever truly loved each other, or if we were just following a convenient script, but I can't keep going with something that was built on half-truths." Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "So you're going to humiliate me in front of everyone, after everything I invested?" The word invested bounced between them like poison. Andrew took a steady breath. "Rachel, I'm not going to marry you today." The impact of the sentence made her knees buckle for a moment. Guests muttered. Charles cursed under his breath. Rachel's mother lifted a hand to her face, horrified. Andrew stepped back and gently pulled Bennett closer. "This day went completely off script," he said, "but I can't regret finding out about my son. If that cost me my wedding nor my reputation, then so be it." He looked down at the boy, small, confused, clutching his dog. "I'm not going to abandon him." Rachel's tears finally spilled over. She turned and ran across the sand, her father chasing after her. Some guests followed, others stayed, stunned. Ariana watched everything, her heart racing. And Andrew, for the first time in many years, felt he was finally making the first right decision of his life. The sound of footsteps blended with the steady rhythm of the waves, as if the ocean were trying to wash away the chaos on the beach with every tide. Elaine let out a worried sigh and gently rested a comforting hand on Bennett's shoulder, trying to shield him from the tension still hanging in the air. Ariana watched Andrew with a mixture of awe and disbelief. What he had just done, ending a wedding moments before it began, was enormous. Not for her, but for the small boy gripping Buddy's leash with such trembling determination. For a few seconds, no one moved. Then, like drama-seeking predators, photographers began to creep forward, raising their cameras as if arming themselves. Andrew drew a deep breath. A new kind of calm took shape within him, as though he had finally walked out of a storm far too long. "I think it's over," he murmured, turning to Ariana and his son. "I'm not getting married today." Ariana looked at him with compassion and sadness. Sadness for the scandal, the confusion, the hearts that would be left wounded. "Andrew, No," he cut in with a gentle firmness. "Don't try to take on guilt that isn't yours. All of this, everything, is the result of too many silent lies, half-made choices. If anything, I should be thanking you for telling me the truth about him." He looked at Bennett, and something inside him lit up. A new flame, the kind that only appears when a life changes forever. Bennett tugged lightly at Andrew's shirt. "Sir, are you okay?" he asked, innocent. Andrew let out a soft laugh and knelt until he was eye level with him. "It's going to be okay, yes." Then, with a sincerity that seemed to open a new path before them, "And I'd really like it if you started calling me Dad." Ariana brought a hand to her mouth. unable to hide her emotion. Bennett hesitated for a moment, then his face stretched into a shy smile. "Dad," he repeated, testing the sound. "Okay." Elaine let out a small sob caught between laughter and tears, pressing her hand to her chest. Buddy, as if understanding the moment, nudged Andrew with his nose, tail wagging, welcoming him to this small family. Around them, the remains of the failed wedding told their own story. The floral arch still standing, grand but empty, the scattered chairs, the confused guests, the songs that would never be played. But to Andrew, none of it mattered anymore. There, in that small circle formed by himself, Ariana, and their son, was something he had never felt in all his years of wealth: peace. Still, the world watched and judged. Dismantled decorations, whispering guests, photographers frantically documenting every expression. It was like watching a film being dismantled in front of its audience. Andrew, Ariana, and Bennett left the sand and followed a wooden walkway that led to the resort's private gardens. Elaine walked behind, giving them space but always close. The sun now shone brightly, illuminating every grain of sand, as if nature insisted on bringing light to everything still dark in their hearts. When they reached a quieter area surrounded by tall palm trees and tropical flowers, Andrew slowed, inhaling deeply. Some guests stared with curiosity. Others recognized the billionaire from magazine covers and seemed to struggle to reconcile this version of him with the polished image from the news. For the first time in his life, he ignored them all. He turned to Ariana. "We need to decide what comes next," he said, steady but calm. He didn't know how to restart a day that had collapsed entirely. A cancelled wedding, a truth that cut through all defenses, an enraged former fiancé. But he knew what he couldn't do: leave Ariana and Bennett alone. "I agree," she replied, holding the boy's hand. "After everything that happened, going separate ways like before doesn't make sense." "It really doesn't," Andrew said, watching his son now studying colorful fish in a small artificial pond. Buddy chased butterflies nearby, barking happily and making the moment lighter. Elaine knelt beside Bennett, pointing at the fish and sharing fun facts, as if trying to win over her grandson immediately. And it was working. For the first time in many years, Andrew realized that, right in front of him, a kind of family was beginning to bloom. "I need to go back to the beach," Andrew said, turning to Ariana. "Thank the people who stayed. Explain what happened. Apologize, maybe." "I don't want them thinking I vanished again." Ariana studied him tenderly. "Do you want me to stay away? I don't want to become the target of their gossip." "They'll talk anyway," he replied without hesitation. "And Rachel is probably already telling the story her way. You don't have to hide, but I understand if you'd rather wait somewhere else." Ariana gave a soft smile. "I'll stay with Bennett and your mom. It'll be good for him to rest a bit." Then added with quiet certainty, "After that, you come back to us?" Andrew's expression softened. "I will." Ariana touched his arm lightly. "Be gentle with yourself. There will be a lot of angry people and a lot of cameras." Andrew let out a short breath. "I don't care about the cameras. I just want to make sure you two are okay." "We are," she said. "What you lost today, I'm sorry." He shook his head. "I didn't lose anything that mattered. I'd rather face a scandal than live a life that was never real." For a moment they simply looked at each other. So much lived in the space between their words, and yet nothing felt urgent. Tomorrow would come, but for the first time Andrew wasn't afraid of it. Nearby, Elaine called Bennett gently, worried he might lean too far over the pond. Buddy ran in circles, delighted by passing butterflies. Andrew took a deep breath. "I'm going to fix this," he said, determined. "Then I'll come back. We need to talk more, if that's all right with you." "Of course," Ariana replied, hugging her own arms. "We'll be here. We're not running away. Not this time." Andrew touched her shoulder. A silent, real promise. Then he began to walk. Before he got too far, Elaine hurried to join him, offering quietly what had always been there but what he had never allowed himself to receive: support. When they returned to the beach, the chaos still pulsed in the air, guests clustering around the empty arch, security trying to calm photographers, servers unsure whether to pour champagne or start packing up, the string quartet huddled at the bar, waiting for instructions. Andrew stepped before them all. Silence fell instantly. "Friends, family," he began, his voice carrying, "I owe you an explanation." Some people let out nervous laughs. Others crossed their arms, bracing for the storm. "The wedding is not going to happen," he said firmly, "and not because of arguments or disagreements, but because Today I discovered something that changes absolutely everything. Everyone held their breath. Andrew inhaled deeply and continued, Today I met my son, a wonderful boy I never knew existed. And knowing that, I can't keep living a life that doesn't represent who I want to be from now on, or what I want to give him. The reaction was immediate. Gasps, whispers, shock, outrage for some, respect for others. But Andrew, for the first time, did not waver, because the truth was already clear. The life he had tried to build was not the life he wanted to live. Andrew's last words hung in the air, as if even the ocean breeze needed time to absorb them. No one knew how to react right away. The group of guests looked at each other, unsure whether they should applaud, offer words of comfort, or simply slip away quietly and pretend everything was normal. In the back, one of Rachel's mother's closest friends let out an indignant huff and marched off through the sand, clutching her hat tightly as if she had just witnessed a personal tragedy. An old investor and almost mentor of Andrew's stepped closer, patted his shoulder lightly and commented in a low voice, Look, you might have ruined the party, but you've gained all my respect. That boy is lucky you found him. Andrew nodded, grateful, unable to find many words. Beside him, Elaine stepped forward, naturally taking control of the situation. We appreciate all of you being here, she said, her voice firm yet polite. But the event is over. If you'd like to stay and enjoy the beach and the resort, please do. But the official part of the wedding is cancelled. That seemed to be the signal the staff had been waiting for. The decorators began taking down the arrangements. Servers collected glasses and trays. One of the bartenders put away the already opened bottles. Some friends came up to Andrew to hug him, ask if he was okay, and offer help. On the other side, Rachel's family stormed off in angry clusters, complaining about the money, the humiliation, and the lack of consideration. For the paparazzi, the outcome was bittersweet. They had their scandal, but no fairy tale final scene. For Andrew, however, for the first time in a long while, there was a trace of peace. Humiliating, yes. A feast for headlines and toxic comments, also. Yet still it felt right. He had chosen truth over a perfect scene built on illusion. About an hour later, the beach was almost unrecognizable. The floral arch had already lost half its flowers. The rows of chairs had been removed. Most of the guests were gone, each one taking their own version of the story with them. Elaine found her son standing near what remained of the decor, watching two staff members remove the last arrangements. You did what needed to be done, she said as she approached. I know it hurts, but I'm very proud of you. Andrew let out a crooked, exhausted smile. Thanks, Mom, but I feel ridiculous. It's like a scene from a drama movie, even for my taste. She gave a brief laugh. Better drama now than regret for the rest of your life, she replied, squeezing his arm affectionately. Then she tilted her head toward the path leading back to the gardens, where Ariana and Bennett had stayed. Go. Your son and Ariana are probably waiting. I'll stay here and handle what's left. Andrew hesitated for a second. Are you sure? Elaine gave him that classic mother look that said she'd already decided for him. Andrew, go be with your boy. I know how to handle wilted flowers, irritated vendors, and dramatic relatives. Go. Gratitude washed over him like a warm wave. He kissed his mother's forehead and walked away, leaving behind the wreckage of a wedding that should never have happened. He walked through the gardens again, past the small pond where colorful fish glided beneath the surface. The resort almost felt like a different place now, quieter, as if the noise of the chaos had been confined to the strip of sand. He found Ariana under the shade of a tree sitting on a wooden bench. Bennett slept deeply in her lap, his little arms wrapped around Buddy, who was also fast asleep. The sight tightened Andrew's chest. A son he never knew existed, so peaceful, so surrendered, trusting fully in that embrace. Ariana lifted her gaze as soon as she noticed him approaching. So? She asked softly, so as not to wake the boy. It's over, he replied, sitting beside her. At least, the wedding is over. What comes after, I have no idea. Are you staying here tonight? We are, she confirmed. We arrived yesterday. The plan was to go back tomorrow. Andrew thought for a moment. And home is where? About 2 hours from here, she explained. A small town, very simple, no glamour, but it's where my parents are, where Bennett has school, routine, friends. It's a good place for him. Andrew looked at his son's sleeping face, cheeks flushed from the sun, long eyelashes resting against his skin. Can I see him tomorrow? He asked, feeling a strange kind of nervousness. Or maybe I could drive you back, help with the bags, meet your family. I don't want you two to disappear again. The words came out rushed, more honest than planned. There was a deep fear inside him that if he let them leave alone, all of this would turn into nothing more than a painful memory. Ariana's expression softened. "I'd like that," she admitted, almost in a whisper, "but it's going to be a shock for my parents. They might have only seen your face in an interview or magazine, and now you show up like this, half-dressed for a wedding, in the middle of a regular weekend." Andrew let out a weak laugh, and she ended up laughing too. The silence that followed wasn't awkward. It was new but comfortable, like they were learning how to share the same space all over again. Bennett stirred, rubbing his eyes, still half asleep. When he noticed Andrew sitting there, a small smile appeared on his face. "Dad," he murmured, his voice thick with sleep. This time the word came out firm, natural. "That's me, champ," Andrew replied. "Can we go play on the beach?" the boy asked, yawning. Andrew thought of the photographers, the remains of the ceremony, the curious stares. "Not on that beach," he said gently. "But I think we can find a quieter stretch of sand." Ariana nodded. "There's a little cove on the other side of the resort. Almost nobody goes there. It's more private. We can head over. It'll be good for him." "Then let's go," Andrew decided, feeling his shoulders relax just at the thought. He carefully lifted Bennett into his arms. Buddy jumped up, spinning in excitement around them. Ariana grabbed her bag, and the three of them walked together toward the quieter part of the property. In the distance, they could still see staff taking down what was left of the party. A few guests watched from afar, curious. Andrew decided he wouldn't give that any more of his attention. In a small pocket of nearly untouched sand, the afternoon light poured gold over the sea. The waves rolled in gently, as if whispering welcome. Ariana spread a large towel on the ground. Bennett wriggled free and ran toward the shallow water, Buddy racing at his side. Andrew removed his shoes, rolled up his pant legs, and for the first time that day, felt like he could truly breathe. "I've never seen you like this," Ariana commented, watching him. "Like what?" he asked, curious. "More loose." She nodded toward his open shirt, his hair tousled by the humidity. "I always picture the Andrew who thought 10 steps ahead and shut himself off so no one could reach him. This one looks like someone under reconstruction." He gave a lopsided, sincere smile. "It's new for me too," he confessed. "I have no idea how to be a father. I don't know if I'll know how to let go of this need to control everything. But right now, all I want is to be here with him." Ariana reached out and lightly touched his forearm. A small gesture, but full of meaning. "That's how it starts," she said softly. "Just showing up. For a long time, I was afraid that if you ever found out about Bennett, you'd be angry. But seeing you today, I wish I hadn't let fear win so much." Something in her voice landed on a tender place inside him. He remembered their late-night conversations, the plans they made before everything fell apart. "We can't change what's already happened," Andrew murmured, "but maybe we can fix what's ahead, even if we stumble along the way." Ariana's eyes shimmered, though the tears still didn't fall. "I'd like that," she replied. Down by the water, Bennett waved at them, calling them over to see the project he was building in the sand. Buddy ran in happy circles around the boy, wild with joy. "All right, Chief Engineer," Andrew said, heading down the sand and rolling his sleeves up further. "Let's build the biggest fortress this place has ever seen." Bennett's face lit up. "It's going to need a lot of shells, Dad," he declared. The word Dad still sounded new in Andrew's ears, but so right that he needed a second before moving again. Then he began collecting shells along the shoreline, as if he were gathering small treasures. Ariana joined in, searching for smooth little stones. From time to time she looked over at the two of them, and each glance felt like a silent prayer of gratitude for them being there, together. The sun slowly dipped, tinting the sky in pinkish tones. Bit by bit, the sandcastle rose, full of crooked towers, shells pressed into the sides and tiny tunnels carved out by Bennett's hands. "We're missing the flag," the boy declared. Scanning the sand, he found a small stick and a piece of dry leaf, stuck it at the top of one of the towers, then stepped back proudly. "Done. Now it's real." Ariana laughed quietly. Soon after, Bennett rubbed his eyes, his small body giving in to the day's exhaustion. "Sweetheart, I think today was a little too big for you," Ariana said, running her fingers through his hair. "How about we go back to the room and rest a bit?" Andrew's newly awakened instinct surfaced immediately. "That's probably best," he agreed. "We still have a lot to talk about tomorrow and to live." They gathered their things, towels, sandals, and a small handful of shells Bennett insisted on taking as a souvenir. Buddy trotted along, still full of energy. As they walked up the path lined with tropical plants, the boy in the middle and an adult on each side, it was impossible not to notice. It looked, in every way, like a family. And surprisingly, Andrew realized he had never wanted anything as much as that. As they neared the lobby, he made plans with Ariana. "I'm going up to my suite to grab clean clothes and try to get myself somewhat organized. You two can head up and rest. How about we meet for dinner later, around 7? "That sounds perfect," she replied. "If Bennett is too tired, we'll keep it simple, but I'd really like that. There's a quieter restaurant near the lagoon," Andrew explained. "No dress code, no tie. I think I've had enough formal wear for today." Ariana smiled in understanding. Bennett barely reacted, almost asleep on his feet. Buddy, ever faithful, followed every step. Andrew bent down and pressed a light kiss to the top of his son's head. The gesture was still new, but it felt like the most natural thing in the world. They parted ways in the hallway. Ariana led Bennett and Buddy to their room, while Andrew headed for the elevator, his chest filled with a strange mix of apprehension and hope. In the metallic reflection of the elevator doors, he saw his own image: disheveled hair, wrinkled shirt, pant legs marked with dried sand. And even so, a small smile appeared, shy but real. When he reached the suite that just a few hours earlier had been reserved for his honeymoon with Rachel, he found the door closed. For a moment, he wondered if she or a relative might still be inside. He hesitated, then decided to knock. Nothing. His phone buzzed. It was a message from Elaine. "Don't worry about the room." Rachel went to another suite with her parents. She took her things. "I'm in the lobby if you need me." Andrew's shoulders relaxed. At least one confrontation wouldn't be part of the script that day. He picked up the key card, drew in a deep breath, and walked into the suite. One chapter had ended. Another, completely unexpected one, was just beginning to be written. The suite looked like something out of a magazine: a plush sofa, marble floors gleaming under the late afternoon light, a balcony with a sweeping view of the ocean. The bed remained perfectly made, as if no one had even touched it, but a closer look revealed what had changed. Rachel's things were gone. No dresses hanging, no makeup bag left behind, no perfume on the nightstand. She had ordered everything removed. On a small table, Andrew found a few wedding pamphlets and a thick binder stamped with the event planning company's logo. Now it was nothing more than purposeless paper, the bittersweet archive of a ceremony that would never exist. He opened the binder and flipped through it without truly taking anything in. Seating charts pairing families and investors, drawings of floral arrangements, detailed schedules for photos that would never be taken. When he closed the binder, a tightness passed through his chest, something between grief and relief. Without thinking twice, he tossed everything into the trash. An entire chapter of his life was closed with a single motion. Feeling the weight of the day settle over him, Andrew walked into the bathroom, peeled off his stiff shirt and the pants still dusty with sand, and stepped under the shower. Hot water ran over his shoulders, washing away the salt, the sweat, and for a few minutes the tension clinging to his skin. When he stepped out, he remembered how Rachel insisted on perfection: flawless hair, a suit without a crease, the posture of a magazine groom. This time he felt no desire to match that standard. He put on khaki shorts, a light linen shirt, and breathed more deeply, as if he were finally back in his own body. He picked up his phone. A long list of missed calls filled the screen. Numbers from journalists, business contacts, unknown callers. Among them, a voicemail from Mr. Mercer, his longtime attorney. With some reluctance, he pressed play. "Andrew, this is Mr. Mercer. I've already heard some rumors about what happened today. Rachel's father is furious. He's threatening to sue for wedding costs, breach of contract, defamation, everything at once. Call me when you can. We'll handle this calmly." Andrew ended the message and shook his head. The thought of breach of wedding contract almost made him laugh. If he didn't know Charles Bucke so well, it was exactly the kind of man who could turn wounded pride into legal threats. He sighed and put the phone on silent. The courts could wait until tomorrow. Tonight, something infinitely more important awaited him. His first real dinner with Ariana and Bennett. Still with the towel over his shoulder, Andrew walked to the balcony. The sun was slowly dipping, painting the sky in rose, orange, and gold. Far off, he could see the cove where he had built sandcastles with his son just hours before, now almost empty, with only a few birds pecking along the shore. His chest tightened. In less than a day, his life had turned upside down. The image of the controlled billionaire, the perfect groom, the magazine cover fiancé, it had all cracked. And in exchange, he had gained something he never knew was missing: A boy with bright eyes, 5 years of stories he hadn't lived, and a woman who had carried all of it alone. Was there still time to be a real father? Was there still a chance to reclaim even part of what had been lost? A gentle knock on the suite door interrupted his thoughts. He crossed the room and opened it. It was his mother. "Hi," Elaine said softly, coming in with that calm worry she carried so well. She set her bag on a chair and looked him over from head to toe. "I needed to see how you were." Andrew managed a small but sincere smile. "As good as possible. I showered. Feels like I washed off half the fiasco." Elaine tapped his hand affectionately. "This fiasco is still going to be a topic for a while," she said bluntly. "But you made the right choice. Charles Bucci will throw a fit, talk to everyone he knows, threaten lawsuits, but you have Mr. Mercer. And more important than that," she looked at her son with profound tenderness, "Bennett is a gift, Andrew. Don't let anyone make you think otherwise." He swallowed hard and nodded. "I know. I'm having dinner with Ariana and him tonight. I think from there we start figuring out what comes next." Elaine stepped forward and pulled him into a tight hug. Andrew let himself relax for a few seconds, breathing into his mother's shoulder like he used to as a teenager. With her there, the chaos felt less impossible to face. When they stepped apart, she gave him that bright, proud smile. "Go," she encouraged, warm but firm. "Go make up for lost time with your son. Show him he matters." "I will," Andrew said, his voice rough. "Thank you, Mom." She left, probably to deal with the hotel staff or the family members, and he checked the time. He still had 30 minutes before dinner. Not wanting to stay trapped in the suite, Andrew headed down to the lagoon area where the restaurant was located. Torches lit the path. Palm trees swayed in the breeze, carrying the smell of the ocean, and soft music played from discreet speakers, blending with the sound of waves hitting the lagoon's edge. At the host stand, he requested a private table. The hostess led him to a quiet corner near the railing, with a perfect view of the sunset reflecting over the calm water. After ordering a cold drink, Andrew picked up his phone but resisted the urge to check any news sites. 15 minutes later, he saw the three of them walking in. Ariana, wearing a light dress and an attentive expression. Bennett, clean and cheerful in shorts and a t-shirt. And Buddy, tail wagging as he sniffed unfamiliar scents. A warmth flooded Andrew's chest. He stood and waved. "Dad!" Bennett shouted, running toward the table, half dragging Buddy with him. Ariana followed with a small but genuine smile. There was caution in her eyes, as if searching his face for any hint of regret. She found none, and she softened. They sat down. Buddy curled up at Bennett's feet, sniffing around like he already belonged there. Andrew noticed a few curious glances from other tables, but ignored them. Ariana did the same, focusing instead on the bright excitement in her son's eyes as he studied the children's menu. "Mom?" Bennett said, swinging his legs. "Can I have chicken nuggets and fries and ice cream?" Ariana raised an eyebrow. "You can choose one dessert, and something with vegetables. Deal?" She glanced at Andrew, slightly embarrassed. "He loves sweets. If I let him, he lives off sugar." Andrew laughed. "I'm the last person who can judge. I've pulled all-nighters living on ice cream straight from the tub." "A billionaire fueled by sugar," she teased, laughing too. For a moment, things felt light. Then her expression turned more serious. "And you?" she asked quietly. "How are you? After everything?" He ran a finger along the rim of his water glass. "Strangely at peace," he admitted. "Worried about what the press will invent, of course. But that's not the priority. You two are." Bennett scribbled on the menu with crayons, unaware of how heavy that conversation was. "I think we have a lot to figure out," Andrew continued. "Where Bennett will stay, how we'll organize visits, and maybe I could spend some time in your town if you wouldn't mind." Ariana nodded slowly. "I want him to really know you," she said firmly. "I want him to see you often. We can build a routine. But I don't want to uproot him. He started preschool, he has friends. I would never ask you to change everything suddenly," Andrew replied quickly. "But if you're open to it, I can travel there whenever possible. And if someday it makes sense, you two could spend some holidays in my city. I have a guest apartment. No pressure, just an option." She took a few seconds to think. "We'll talk," she said finally. "It's going to take commitment from both sides, but I'm relieved to hear you say that." Bennett suddenly joined the conversation. "Dad, do you have a big house? My friend said rich people live in castles." Andrew laughed and ruffled his hair. "It's not exactly a castle, but it does have a really nice view of the city. Lots of windows, lots of light." His voice softened. "You can visit. We can build Legos, watch movies, do whatever you want." Bennett's eyes lit up. "Mom, can we?" Ariana looked at her son, then at Andrew. Hope reflected in both faces. She smiled gently. "We'll see, sweetheart. Maybe on a weekend or during school break." Bennett celebrated by hugging Buddy, who wagged even harder. The food arrived, and the conversation grew lighter. Ariana teased Andrew about his disastrous attempts at cooking. Bennett told stories from school. Andrew shared funny memories from the early days of his company, when everything was improvised. Outside, the sky shifted from pink to gold to deep blue. Now and then, Andrew noticed movement near the restaurant entrance, likely photographers trying to keep a respectful distance. He chose not to care. When dessert arrived, Bennett was already fighting sleep, leaning against his mother's arm. Andrew paid the check quickly. He didn't want that first night as a family to be ruined by cameras. They walked back along the tiki-lit path, the night warm and steady, the ocean whispering nearby. In a quieter corner, Ariana slowed, letting other guests pass. Andrew noticed the hesitation. "Everything okay?" he asked gently. She nodded, but her eyes shimmered with held-back emotion. "Today it was good," she admitted. "Seeing you with Bennett, seeing you two together. It gives me hope, but I'm still scared. What if life crushes everything again?" Andrew reached out and gently rested a hand on her shoulder. "We've already lost too much time," he said softly. "I'm not letting that happen again. My life isn't the 20-hour workdays locked in an office anymore. I can choose now, and I want to choose to be present." Ariana took a deep breath, as if unloading a weight. "Then let's choose to do this right," she said. "For Bennett, and for us, even if it's just as co-parents." The way she looked at him said far more than her words. She was the woman who had carried alone a story meant to be shared. "I'm in," he promised, "one step at a time." Bennett murmured something about castles and Buddy, already drifting off in her arms. Ariana smiled at her son, then looked at Andrew again. "Thank you for not turning your back on him," she whispered, "and for listening to me." Andrew leaned in and pressed a light kiss to her temple. Gentle, respectful, deeply intimate. "Let's get this little guy to bed," he murmured, voice thick. They walked together to Ariana's room. Buddy rushed inside first, excited. Bennett, half asleep, kept holding Andrew's hand until the very last moment. The room was simple. 2 full beds, pastel walls, basic furniture. And yet Andrew felt a warmth there that no penthouse he had ever slept in had given him. Ariana tucked her son under the covers, ran her fingers through his hair and kissed his forehead. Andrew stood nearby, unsure whether he belonged in that scene. Then Bennett shifted, made room, and patted the space beside him, a silent invitation. Hesitant, Andrew sat down. The boy yawned, eyelids heavy, sinking into the pillow. "Dad," Bennett murmured, already drifting into sleep. "When we go to your city, can we go to the zoo?" The soft question tightened Andrew's throat. "Of course we can," he whispered. Within minutes, Bennett was asleep, wrapped around his stuffed dinosaur. Buddy curled up at the foot of the bed like a tiny guardian. Andrew and Ariana watched the boy for a moment before she switched off the main light, leaving only the warm glow of the bedside lamp. "You can come by early tomorrow," she said softly. "We'll decide about the trip. Or you can come with us." "I want to go," he answered, emotion rising. "I'd like to see where you live. Maybe even meet your parents." Ariana smiled gently. "They'll be surprised, but they adore Bennett." In the hallway, they faced each other in a quiet pause. Andrew reached up, brushing her cheek with tender hesitation. Ariana closed her eyes, accepting the moment for a heartbeat. "Good night, Andrew, and thank you for being here. I'll see you in the morning." He walked through the resort, mind spinning. In a single day, the life he had built, the carefully planned wedding, the polished public image, had collapsed. But in its place, he had found his son, and found again the woman he had never truly forgotten. His phone vibrated. He ignored it. Nothing felt more urgent than what was unfolding now. At dawn, the resort glowed in soft pink as Andrew, exhausted, got up. Staff members were clearing the last remnants of the wedding from the beach. The contrast made him exhale with relief. It was finally over. His lawyer called early. The Bucci family was considering pressing charges. "They have almost no legal grounds," Mr. Mercer explained. "They just want to scare you." "Let them shout into the wind," Andrew replied. "Draft a short statement and keep Ariana and Bennett out of it. Consider it done." After getting dressed, he found himself wanting to buy something for Bennett to wear on the trip. Surprising how quickly small tasks already felt natural. On the way to Ariana's room, a few guests recognized him, but no one approached. He texted, "Good morning, I'm on my way. Tell me if Bennett needs anything." The reply came fast. He had breakfast, and he keeps asking if you're really coming. That sweet ache returned. I'm coming. The door was slightly open. As soon as Andrew knocked, Bennett ran toward him. Dad, are you riding in our car? Andrew smiled. If your mom agrees, I'd love to. Ariana was zipping the suitcase, her smile warming the entire room. Our SUV is small. It might be a tight fit, she warned. Andrew looked at her, at Bennett, at Buddy wagging his tail. We'll make it work, he said, with a new kind of certainty. This is perfect, Andrew said. Better than a taxi or another car. I want to see where you live. And meet your family. He hesitated. I know it'll be a shock, me showing up after all this time. Ariana drew in a steady breath. It will, yes. But they know Bennett grew up without you. They just didn't expect to meet you now. Her gaze softened. And it's long overdue for them to see how much you want to be part of his life. Andrew looked toward the back seat, where Bennett was playing with Buddy. I do want that, he murmured. After leaving the resort, they climbed into Ariana's simple SUV. Bennett cheered, Buddy barked, and Andrew stored the bags as if it were already a habit. Soon the coastal highway faded behind them, replaced by small towns, wooden houses, and farmers' markets. In the back seat, Bennett talked non-stop, and Andrew absorbed every word like someone trying to reclaim years he'd lost. They stopped at a gas station. While Ariana and Bennett bought snacks, Andrew checked his phone, tabloids, reporters, speculation everywhere. A friend had texted, "Man, they're saying you hid the kid and calling Ariana a gold digger." He replied immediately, "I'm fine. My son is fine. Ariana has nothing to do with any of that." Then he turned off his data, ending the conversation. Back in the car, Bennett proudly showed him a mini T-Rex. Andrew laughed, touched by the simplicity of the moment. After a while, a sign appeared. "Welcome to Seabrook. My parents live about 10 minutes from our place," Ariana explained. "Bennett stays with them while I'm at work." Andrew felt a tightness in his chest. "It's going to be okay," Ariana reassured him, noticing his tension. "They love Bennett, and they'll see that you're trying." They arrived at her bungalow, cozy, light walls, toys scattered everywhere, and the smell of real coffee. Bennett pulled him to the bedroom. Dinosaurs on the walls, half-finished drawings, pieces of a childhood Andrew had never witnessed. "This room is amazing," Andrew said, deeply moved. Ariana smiled from the doorway. "He's my whole life, and it's a relief to finally share all this with you." After they finished their coffee, Ariana took a breath. "Ready? My parents want to meet you." His heart kicked hard in his chest. They walked through quiet streets to a small house with a flower garden and a rocking chair on the porch. Bennett ran ahead. "Grandpa, Grandma, I'm here!" Buddy barked excitedly. Before they could knock, the door opened. A thin, grey-haired man with sharp eyes, Harold, appeared. His face lit up at the sight of Bennett, then shifted to Ariana, and finally landed on Andrew. "So, you're Andrew," he said, steady and direct. "Yes, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you." "Call me Harold," he replied, not hostile but evaluating every detail. Soon after, Linda appeared, short, warm, wearing an apron dusted with flour. "There's our boy." She hugged Bennett, kissed him repeatedly, then looked at Andrew with careful curiosity. "You must be Andrew, I'm Linda." "The pleasure is mine," he answered, genuinely nervous. "Come in," she said. "The muffins are almost ready." "I think it's time we talk, isn't it?" Inside the house, full of photos of Bennett, Andrew felt the weight of everything he had missed, and the possibility of starting again. They sat at the table. Ariana helped her mother in the kitchen. Bennett and Buddy played in the hallway. That left Andrew alone with Harold, who studied him with calm restraint. "Coffee?" the man asked. "I'd like that." Harold poured a mug, then clasped his hands on the table. "Let's talk about my grandson." The tension wasn't hostile. It was the kind born from love, the kind Andrew knew he would have to earn. With a calm but steady voice, Harold broke the silence. "Ariana told us you never knew about Bennett. Hard to imagine, but sometimes life goes off the rails." Andrew swallowed hard. "I understand. I don't have an excuse, only the truth," he replied. "I truly didn't know. When Ariana tried to reach me, I had already built walls around my life. I'd cut off almost every personal connection. She couldn't get through." Harold released a short sigh. "That's what Ari told us. But at the end of the day, you left my daughter behind." "Not on purpose," Andrew said. "We ended things during a tense time. I never received the letter about the pregnancy. I had no idea she was expecting my child." He lifted his gaze. "Sir, I'm not here to make excuses. Now that I know about Bennett, I want to be part of his life in whatever way is possible." And I'm sorry it took me 4 years to finally see that. Harold studied him in silence, measuring every expression. Finally, he nodded slowly. You missed a lot. He's an extraordinary boy. Ariana gave everything she had to raise him. I know, Andrew replied, voice lower. She did an exceptional job. I'm deeply grateful he grew up well, loved, safe. Linda and Ariana returned from the kitchen with steaming blueberry muffins. The sweet smell filled the room. They just came out of the oven, Linda said. Now you two keep talking properly. Ariana sat beside Andrew, sliding a muffin toward him. Bennett's in the back room sorting Grandpa's coins, she explained. You know how he loves organizing them by states. Thank you, Linda. They smell wonderful, Andrew said. She settled at the table. Ariana told us a little about what happened yesterday, she added. I imagine it was a shock for you. Andrew thought of the interrupted ceremony, the decorated aisle, the cameras. It was, yes, ma'am, but once I understood I had a son, everything else fell apart. All I could think about was finding Bennett. The tabloids will have their fun, but any headache is worth it if it means being close to him. Harold's brows tightened. So it was on your wedding day? It was, Andrew confirmed. My ex-fiancé's family is furious. They're already talking about suing. But I'm not putting that above my responsibility to my son. Not again. Linda broke a muffin in half. Life changes our route without asking permission, she said, with gentle firmness. If you truly take being Bennett's father seriously, that's what matters to me and Harold. Ariana has suffered enough. Under the table, Ariana rested a hand briefly on Andrew's knee. I believe him, Mom, she whispered. He left the resort and came straight here to see Bennett's home. We've already talked about visits, about real presents. We'll find a way. Buddy trotted in from the other room. Bennett's voice murmured state names in the background. Harold drew in a long breath. All right, he said at last. I won't pretend it was easy watching Ariana raise Bennett alone, but if you're here, willing to take responsibility and be part of this boy's life, then you have my support. The words fell over Andrew like a blessing. Thank you, sir, he said, feeling warm relief spread through his chest. I'll do the best I can. Linda smiled, closing the matter. Then let's eat these muffins before they cool. After that, we can talk about nicer things, like Bennett's next soccer practice. Later, with the mood lighter, Ariana suggested going to the neighborhood park. The green lawn, tall trees, and simple playground created a peaceful scene, far from the gala halls Andrew was used to. Bennett ran ahead with Buddy's leash. Look, Mum, look, Dad, he shouted, climbing onto the swing. Andrew and Ariana sat on a bench beneath the shade of an oak. Remember when you used to say my town was too slow? She teased. He laughed, slightly guilty. I thought if I wasn't running non-stop in the big city, I was wasting time. Now I see I was the one missing out. They watched Bennett swing higher, laughing, while Buddy barked below him, as if celebrating too. If you're going to be in his life, you'll have to get used to Seabrook, Ariana said. We're not moving to a big city anytime soon. I know, Andrew replied. I can work remotely, reorganize my schedule. I'd do that for him, for both of you. After a while, Bennett jumped off the swing, tumbled in the grass, then stood up laughing. See, Dad, see, Mom? Hearing Dad aloud hit Andrew with a sweet impact. This, the tiny falls, the laughter, the urge to protect while letting his son explore, was exactly what he'd missed without knowing. They headed back in the late afternoon, beneath an orange sky. On Ariana's phone, a message from Harold appeared. Tonight is pasta night. Bring Bennett, and tell the city boy I'll need help in the kitchen. Ariana laughed, showing the screen. My dad wants to test you. He said, let's see what the city boy can handle. Andrew smiled, lifting his hands in surrender. It'll be an honor to chop the vegetables. As they walked down the street, bathed in warm evening light, with Bennett skipping ahead and Buddy trotting beside him, Andrew realized that for the first time in years, he didn't feel like a visitor in his own life. He felt finally like he was taking his first steps toward home. When they arrived, the back door was slightly open, and the smell of pasta and garlic drifted through the yard. Linda stirred pots on the stove. Harold chopped herbs with precision. He lifted the knife toward Andrew in a playful gesture. Ready to work, son? Andrew stepped in with a smile. Just tell me what to do. Harold slid a cutting board full of peppers and onions toward him. Start with this. And Ari, keep an eye on him so he doesn't lose a finger. Ariana laughed and went to help her mother. Bennett opened the garlic bread with the seriousness of a surgeon, while Buddy patrolled the floor. The atmosphere was light, almost too familiar for such an overwhelming day. Andrew chopped vegetables, trying to keep up with Harold's rhythm. Easy there, Hawthorne. Harold teased. "You're cutting like you're trading stocks." But there was less sting in the joke now. Signs of acceptance slipping in, soft and subtle. Dinner was ready. Steaming pasta, golden garlic bread, fresh salad. Linda said a short prayer, her voice trembling when she mentioned the family gathered. Under the table, Ariana squeezed Andrew's hand. Bennett slurped spaghetti, blissfully unaware of any tension. Harold asked about Andrew's work. Linda wanted to know what life in the big city was like. Andrew explained, "I can work remotely. I don't want to pull Ariana and Bennett away from their life here. We can build a routine that works for all three of us." Ariana nodded with a small smile. "Dad, do you have robots at work?" Bennett blurted out. Andrew laughed. "Not yet, but I can show you everything. Maybe we can build a little project together." The boy's eyes lit up. After the apple pie, Andrew realized how unexpectedly warm the day had become. They all helped clean the kitchen. Bennett grew sleepy and lay on the couch. The four adults moved to the living room. Linda spoke first. "You're welcome here, Andrew. Anyone can see how good you are for Bennett. But we worry about what happens when you go back to your old life." Ariana stepped in. "We've already talked about routine, visits, consistency. He's committed." Andrew added, "I'm thinking of renting a place here in Seabrook. I want to be part of Bennett's life, not just a visitor." Harold inhaled deeply. "That sounds reasonable, but the most important thing is consistency. If you make promises and don't follow through, it will mark him." Andrew felt the hit, necessary and fair. "I won't fail him. He's my priority." The tension broke. Buddy curled up beside Bennett, who was already asleep. Linda smiled, shifting the mood. "Enough heavy talk, I made tea, and Bennett decided he wants a pet lizard." Ariana groaned. Andrew laughed. "We can think about that together." The word "together" made Harold and Linda exchange an amused glance. Conversation drifted to stories from Ariana's childhood. Andrew listened closely, piecing together the years he had missed. When Bennett finally fell into a deep sleep, Ariana brushed a hand through his hair. "I should take him home." Andrew offered to carry him, but she shook her head gently. "I've been doing this alone for 4 years. He lowered his gaze. "I know, and I'm sorry." Outside, Harold said sincerely, "It'll take time to trust you completely, but I can see you're trying. Thank you for giving me a chance," Andrew replied. They walked back through the quiet night, the moon lighting the street. Once home, Ariana tucked Bennett into bed and returned to the living room. "Thank you for today. They were generous, more than I expected." Andrew stepped closer. "I care about you too, Ariana. No pressure, but I want to know if there's still something between us." She swallowed slowly. "I want to find out too, carefully." He touched her shoulder, and she stepped closer, their foreheads almost touching, a silent promise of a new beginning. Ariana pulled back with a shy smile. "You can sleep on the couch if you want. I want to be here in case Bennett wakes up." She brought blankets. "It's not fancy, but it's warm." Andrew smiled. "It's perfect." She kissed his cheek softly. "Good night, Andrew." He gently held her hand for a moment. "Good night, Ariana." She left with a small smile and disappeared down the hallway, closing the bedroom door quietly. Andrew settled onto the couch, his heart beating fast, strangely steady and peaceful at the same time. Through the window, moonlight cast silver shadows across the yard, where some of Bennett's toys were still scattered. He pulled the blanket up to his chest. The couch was old but surprisingly comfortable. He closed his eyes, letting the events of the day play out one by one, like scenes from a film he had finally chosen to step into for real. In less than 4 days, Andrew's life had been turned upside down. A cancelled wedding, a discovered child, headlines everywhere, and at the same time, a real chance to start over with the woman he had never forgotten. Lying on the simple couch in Ariana's house, listening to the quiet of Seabrook, he felt that, for the first time in many years, he was exactly where he was meant to be. Ariana's cautious acceptance, Bennett's immediate affection, Harold and Linda's support, still guarded but sincere, small steps yet steady ones. All he needed to do was keep moving forward with honesty. In the dark living room, Andrew closed his eyes and whispered a silent prayer, grateful for a second chance. For the boy who called him Dad without hesitation, for Ariana's courage in raising their son almost entirely alone. With that warm gratitude filling his chest, he drifted into the most peaceful sleep he'd had in years. Morning light slipped through the curtains and woke him. His back ached a little from the couch, but a new kind of peace lived inside him. From the hallway came Buddy's pause, Bennett's raspy voice asking for cereal, and Ariana's calm tone guiding the morning routine. He picked up his phone, saw notifications from lawyers, partners, and the news, and flipped the device face down on the table. That wasn't what came first anymore. Not now. After folding the blankets and straightening the couch, he walked into the kitchen. Ariana wore jeans and a simple sweater, her hair tied up loosely. Bennett sat on a small stool, leaning over a bowl of cereal. Buddy watched the floor attentively, waiting for any crumb. "Good morning," Ariana said, offering a discreet smile. "Good morning, Dad," Bennett cheered. "I saved a seat for you." Andrew sat beside him, his chest tightening with joy. Ariana set coffee and toast in front of him. Simple things, yet here they felt like a feast. After breakfast, Andrew helped Bennett get dressed. Within minutes, they reached the approved outfit: a robot t-shirt, shorts that don't itch, worn-out sneakers. Buddy supervised every step, tail wagging as if giving approval. "My parents invited us for lunch," Ariana said while putting away a few toys. "I wanted to stop by the farmer's market first. How long can you stay?" Andrew glanced at Bennett, now trying to turn a sock into a tug-of-war rope for the dog. "As long as you want me to," he said. "I have meetings, but nothing is more urgent than getting to know your life. Yours and Bennett's." Her eyes softened. "I thought you'd run back to your world," she admitted, "especially with your ex-fiancé's father breathing fire." "Mr. Charles can yell all he wants," Andrew said with a shrug. "Mercer will handle it. I want to be here." "Unless you'd rather I go?" Ariana touched his arm gently. "No, stay." Soon they were in the SUV, Buddy panting in the back seat and Bennett narrating the route like a tour guide. In the town square, colorful booths surrounded the old courthouse building. Ariana chose vegetables. Andrew paid and carried the bags. Bennett hopped from stand to stand with Buddy trotting behind him. At a bread stall, an older woman smiled. "Hi, Bennett. Did you find your father?" Ariana flushed. Andrew met her gaze steadily. "I found him," Bennett replied proudly, pointing. "That's him, Andrew." Farther ahead, Bennett spotted a t-shirt with a giant T-Rex. "Dad, can I?" "You can." Andrew paid, and the boy hugged the shirt like a trophy. "Thank you, Daddy." Back at Harold and Linda's house, they were greeted with lemonade and the smell of charcoal. Bennett displayed his new shirt. "Dad bought it." Linda shot Andrew a gentle look. "You're already spoiling that boy," she teased. "He's happy with so little," Andrew murmured. "I'm just trying to catch up on lost time." Linda appointed Bennett as chief of napkins and, almost conspiratorially, motioned for Ariana and Andrew to follow her through the side gate. They walked along a path between trees until the sound of water reached them. A shallow creek flowed between stones. A fallen log served as a bench. They sat side by side. "This was my secret spot," Ariana said. "When I couldn't handle anything anymore, I came here to listen to the water. I never imagined I'd bring you here." Slowly, Andrew intertwined his fingers with hers. Ariana didn't pull away. "I always thought you'd find this silly," she continued. "Your world was meetings, goals, events." "I was blind," he admitted. "I mistook peace for weakness. Now, I just wish I'd found this place sooner." She drew in a breath. "Do you regret canceling the wedding? Rachel, the ceremony, all of it?" "No," he answered without hesitation. "That was all appearances. You and Bennett are real. Learning I had a son woke me up. There's no going back. I was afraid you'd see Bennett as a problem, as the cause of the scandal. He's the best part of everything," Andrew said. "If anyone failed, it was me for not being there. Now I want to be. For him. And for you, if you'll let me." Ariana's eyes glimmered. "I want you to stay," she confessed, "even if at first it's only as his father. But I feel something more too." The words hung between them. Andrew leaned forward. She moved closer. The kiss happened slowly, tenderly, full of care. Not fantasy, but truth. When they pulled apart, Ariana whispered, "It's different now, and I prefer it this way," he replied. They sat for a while, listening to the creak. At last, she smiled. "We should go back. If my dad burns the chicken, he'll blame us. And Bennett will launch a rescue mission," Andrew joked. Hand in hand, they walked back along the path. Andrew's phone vibrated in his pocket. He didn't even look. Lawyers, business, headlines, all of it could wait. What mattered now was the smoke rising from Harold's grill, Bennett's laughter echoing through the neighborhood, Buddy's happy bark, and the woman beside him, slowly making space for him to belong in that world. Andrew realized that enough could be exactly this. And deep down, it was all he had ever wanted. Lunch at Harold and Linda's house was simple, loud, and full of life, exactly the kind of warmth Andrew had never known. While Bennett ran through the backyard with Buddy, Andrew helped at the grill and endured Harold's good-natured teasing, almost as if he were already part of the family. At one point, Linda looked at him with gentle affection. "Have you talked to your mother, dear? She must be worried." The question struck deep. Later, Andrew stepped away with his phone and called Elaine. With a tight voice, he told her about Bennett, about Ariana, and about the unexpected welcome he'd received from her family. On the other end of the line, his mother cried with relief and said she was proud of him. Everything else, the lawsuits, the scandal, Bookie's rage, would be handled by the lawyers. Later came an improvised game of catch in front of the house. When Bennett caught a difficult throw and shouted, "Dad, did you see?" Andrew had to take a breath. It was exactly the kind of moment he never knew he missed until he had it again. In the afternoon, back at Ariana's house, Bennett dragged him to the bedroom to build a Lego spaceship. The boy's joy lit up everything around him. When night fell, Bennett whispered, "Dad, read to me?" Andrew read slowly while the boy fell asleep against his arm. Buddy curled at the foot of the bed. That simple room was worth more than any luxury penthouse he had ever lived in. In the hallway, Ariana whispered, "He's never slept this peacefully." Later, sitting together on the couch with only one lamp on, she rested her head on his shoulder. "How long can you stay?" Andrew intertwined his fingers with hers. "As long as you need me. I'm not disappearing again." Ariana exhaled, perhaps for the first time, allowing herself to believe it. "Then, let's try. Slowly. The right way." The kiss they shared was soft, full of hope. Not about what they had lost, but about everything they could still build. When Ariana fell asleep on his chest and the house settled into silence, Andrew knew none of it, scandal, lawsuits, headlines, mattered. He had finally found what he had always been searching for, even without realizing it. A son who loved him, a woman who had never stopped living inside him. That night, no luxury suite awaited him. Only the warm glow of a lamp, the distant chirping of crickets, and the steady heartbeat of Ariana asleep against his chest. And Andrew understood, with calm, absolute clarity, this was where he wanted to stay. If you enjoyed this story, don't miss the next one. Just click on the screen. Leave your like, subscribe to Hearts Rewritten, and comment below. Which part touched your heart the most today? I would love to read your comments.